come. Boxy doing a nice job of blocking him off. Looks like Yawar's going to try to fight his way through this, but the first blood will go to Boxy nonetheless. Zai continuing on. Fata looks like he's going to get the trade at the very least. So it's a 1-for-1, but obviously better that going to Liquid because it's first blood and the position 1 doesn't get any of that XP.
Yeah, and I think probably arguably the biggest thing here too is this massive creep wave that they're dragging. None of these creeps died, so that is just a straight up fight, level 2 XP from getting that kill, and then Zai gets an entirely free lane. This is going to deny like 2 or 3 waves of creeps back here. This is very good for Liquid starting off in this off lane.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, speaking of this off lane with that position 1, I mean, this is the thing I liked about Soniqs draft is that it felt like 3 out of these 5 heroes could have been Quinn heroes. Kunkka, I thought for sure that last pick Kunkka was for him, actually.
So did I. Yeah.
Tiny, he's played mid. Obviously, Zeus, he's playing now. He's done so before. I cannot personally remember the last time I've seen Yawar play Kunkka as a 1, though. Have you?
No, I mean, it's been a while. Yawar, his classic heroes are pretty much like hard carries, Terror Blades. Like, if he's playing something fast, maybe like CK. But Yawar, he does have a lot of experience playing mid. Plays it a lot in pubs. He just plays a lot of pubs in general, so
yeah,
he can handle it for sure.
Quinn, he's taking heavy damage from Mikke in this mid lane, and I mean you can see the CS is relatively even. So you were talking about how both of these heroes will likely get their farm, so don't have to worry about that too much necessarily. You can see Matu is playing Bloodseeker, which has done quite a bit, and there was some question about whether the Weaver was going to be a core or not, as you are. Going to get boxed in by Boxy a bit here. Let's see what I did there, Jenkins. Thank you.
It's very, very nice.
Yep.
You know what I like about the Liquid draft that I'm only realizing now after watching a bit of these lanes? It's that they have Winter Wyvern mid, who's going to be doing this like percentage damage to Quinn off cooldown, and then also in the off lane they have Slardar, who's this like slow harass hero. Bloodseeker's fast, man. Like he's always going to be running fast in this game.
Yeah, true.
Otama's got a free game because these other lanes are like heavy harass lanes.
Yeah, and I mean, historically speaking, obviously Bloodseeker is good against some of these mobility heroes like the Weaver, but it is a position 3, so maybe not the biggest deal that it's semi-countered. I think that's kind of what the panel we're touching on, that a position 1 wouldn't have been really in the cards for Soniqs.
Yeah.
Wait, it's plural, right?
It's
not
plural.
just Sonic.
It's plural, yeah.
MSS, you're going to get the Poison Touch applied, but the Avalanche is going to keep Matu back a bit. As you can see, his CS is sitting on 22 and 8 with Yawar, despite dying 19 to 5, so not that bad for him. But we'll see how that progresses past the laning stage. And this is the thing I always like talking about, even though it's not even remotely close to that time, Jenkins, but I think it is
Aghanim shards.
That's incorrect. It is actually Roshan.
Okay.
As Quinn is going to get gone on to dispose from Boxy, and that just shows you how powerful Marcy is. I mean, Rebound gives you so much mobility. Dispose is a crazy skill, and this hero will certainly be nerfed in about 2 weeks.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. It's funny because I feel like against every other like mid-roaming hero, Earth Spirit, Tusk, Zeus probably survives against those heroes with the Heavenly Jump. I mean, this is also an ability that's probably going to get nerfed, but not against Marcy. Like, she just has too much to connect on you. She gives this ridiculous move speed to your ally too, so like, if Marcy's not killing you, the ally is. Yeah, it's just some like next level broken type of roam.
And what were your thoughts on the Warlock pick this game? I mean, we've talked about this ad nauseum before with like the heals because of the lack of healing salves in the game now, because obviously the carries have to buy them themselves, which I assume that's a big part of it. But like past the laning stage, how does this hero fit in with this lineup?
You know, I feel like there is a lot of heavy team fighting being picked up for a number of reasons. You know, like Wyvern gets picked a lot now because of the counter to Dawnbreaker, the counter to this Zug meta that people are picking a lot. And so I really think Warlock is, of course, like you mentioned, there's the healing in the laning phase, which deals with the salve nerf. But then also, you just win fights. There's no hero that outfights a Warlock. Like, Enigma might be the only one you could possibly think of, but then it's like, well, Warlock counters Enigma, right? So, sure, in like a tied to Enigma matchup, Enigma might be the better 5-man team fighter, but Warlock's just the best of the best.
MSS gets a toss-off onto Matu, but you can see the TP in from Insania is going to keep Soniqs back for the time being. So Matu, he's actually getting out CS'd by Yawar, technically, at the moment, which surprises me a little bit. Obviously, I mean, Bloodseeker against double melee seems like a decent matchup overall, but Fata, he's going to get gone on. Crushes there from Zai, but there is a little bit of damage coming out from that Fatal Launch Shadow Word combination, and there's the Thunder God's Wrath to get the trade. So support for an off lane. I think Soniqs will be perfectly happy with that exchange.
It does force the rotation from MSS, though, which means that Matumba, how close is he to his level 6? Not that close. Yeah, I mean, this is the nice thing about having a Weaver as the offlaner, is that you can leave this lane, and he's perfectly fine to sit there and farm. You know, there's no line on the enemy team, for example, that can come gank him easily. It's a dazzle. I think that's a big reason why they picked us. I thought they were going to do this as a 4 position, just to like win the support trade with the dazzle, but they think, you know, put it as the core in the same lane, and for the same reason, you're going to freeform. But Liquid does get this full stack because there's no support down here to be tested on the Sonic side.
So you talked about the Witchblade from Mickey, which is the first item he's going to be working on. But after that, like, what do you build on a Wyvern these days as a core? See the first boat of the game from Yawar onto Zai. MSS is going to get bashed as Fata's in the area, gets off that Shadow Word as Zai gets tossed into the air. But looks like he's going to be perfectly fine. He just sprints away. Looks like he has one of those special cosmetics that makes him very bright and obnoxious. It means it's worth a lot of money, of course.
That's right. That's
Invisibility.
Right. Yeah, he barely survived that. He knew he was going to survive too. Even Agi swapped his treads. So, yeah, Warlock.
I mean, if that was the days back in the days where sprint actually cost you HP, essentially,
he'd be dead.
Yeah, he would be mega
dead.
dead.
Yeah.
Sania's scouting out Leslau right now. Matu has his Rupture. We'll see if Leslau's able to get out of this. He does have his time lapse. He's going to Shikuchi, take a lot of damage as a result. Can time lapse back. Gets the swarm off, but will fall in the end. You can see just the power that is the Bloodseeker against the likes of a Weaver. Not only for that Rupture with the mobility, but the vision once you're low as well. So the Invis doesn't really do too much. And you're pretty much as fast as Weaver as well at that point.
That's right. Good rotation from Boxy too, because otherwise Lelis just TP's out and he's going to be perfectly fine. So the fact that Boxy is there means that Lelis is... He was holding the dispose on Boxy, so he could have at any point canceled the TP. There's a little bit of stacking action going on here.
We've seen a lot of Marcy core and support. The panel kind of talked about it as well. I think Lizard was saying he preferred support, while Sheep was saying core. Do you have a preference as well? Because I think the games that a lot of the ones that we cast, I would say a vast majority were support, and it looked extremely strong. And then the core was basically Gunner.
Yeah, it was Gunner.
For both EU and NA, a lot of the games were just Gunner.
Yeah. Yeah, he's.
So
really...
I think the sample size for me seeing Marcy as a core is like very small in comparison. So.
I've seen. I remember seeing like Ice played it as an offlaner. I think Nikkei played it at a point too. I mean, it looked okay. I personally like Marcy as a support because I feel like you play really well around other heroes. Rebound you cannot use unless there's another hero or creep there, and so like I like to have cores right now that are just strong on their own. A lot of people are picking like Tri-Core and just like farming on all of them. Like, there's no one carry anymore.
MSS, Diaba, the toss back into Quinn. But they're going to try to focus on MSS instead here. The Dazzle Grave saves Boxy for the time being, but it looks like he might be just fine thanks to Rebound. Keep forgetting that's a skill there.
Yeah.
Matu getting gone on though, Yawar. Doesn't have the X as he's already used it, so looks like he's going to look through this little mini exchange as well. So 2K lead basically right after this laning stage now for Liquid, but doesn't feel like either team has a massive advantage at this stage.
No. You know, one thing I do want to talk about that I think has changed in the past, I don't know, couple of years, I suppose, is Bloodseeker used to be perceived as this, like, very fast, not literally, yes, of course, he's fast at move speed, but, like, a fast-paced hero, early game side sort of carry. But I think these days, because of the Shard and because of Maelstrom and Basher, he actually outscales a lot of carries.
Well, Matu, he's going to try to show off that, nope, I was going to say Rupture, but it's still on cooldown. Actually, very low cooldown in general, though, as he's only 100 away from finishing up Maelstrom, so you can see his trepidation and wanting to even fight at this point, considering he's so close to getting that farming item for himself. And when we talk about a position 1 Kunkka, it's going to be first item BKB, which not a huge surprise, I guess. We've been seeing that a lot more. I mean, against this team, though, that's... against Curse, against Rupture,
Slardar, all of his abilities, essentially.
It's physical. Like, what does BKB
you
do
know-
here for you? It takes off blood right.
You gotta.
You still have to do it.
You just have to do it.
It
It's
feels really bad.
The patch is in 2 weeks or whatever. This is gonna be changed.
Really? You think it's going to be deleted from the game?
I remember as soon as they released the BKB change patch, everybody's like, "Oh, thank good Gaben that this is over. It's finally over." For about 2 weeks, people are going, halberds, and they're going for Eon discs and these kind of BKB replacements. No, 2 weeks later, back to BKB. Everybody's first sight in BKB. Same thing. I can guarantee you that Matumba, Old Tumby, once he finishes this Maelstrom, it's BKB. It's always that build.
I mean, I'm trying to remember the last time I've seen a game where the BKB just looks not great, and this is one of them. I mean, you didn't even mention Dazzle. It's like all physical damage. Slardar, obviously. Curse from Wyvern, the Rupture we talked about. Marcy, I mean, you're not worried about her right clicks from Unleash, I guess, so it does block like the Dispose and whatnot. But
it means you have to directly curse Kunkka in the fights.
that's true, because the side targets don't get affected anymore.
No, they don't.
Yeah.
You dodge all of Marcy's stuff. You dodge the Silence from Bloodseeker. You dodge the Slithering Crush on Slardar. I think this is actually one of those games where I kind of want to call it like very high skill that Yawar goes for the BKB, because you'd be so baited to not.
Yeah.
And then you just lose the game because you don't have a BKB.
Oh, yeah, I've been there before.
You get caught by like a Slardar stun. You're like, okay, well, although that's physical damage, it's still like BKB's not. It's not magic immunity. It's spell immunity. Right. So it's like magic damage goes through BKB as long as the spell pierces spell immunity. Like Dismember, for example, is not pure damage. It's magic damage. It just pierces spell immunity.
Right, let's see. We're 11 minutes in. That's about as expected, bringing a Pudge into the game.
Ah, yes.
Appreciate that.
That's a record.
See, that's actually longer than I thought. Liquid's going to smoke up right now. Matu has his Maelstrom on the way. Stay in the mid lane, but you can see the counter smoke now from Soniqs. Just looking at their logo and saying Soniqs just feels so wrong, right? I'm not going to lie. Quinn not going to try to bait out with the illusions. But the expedition for Mickey and company will not be fruitful in terms of kills.
They see
looks like they get some wards down at the very least. MSS is going to catch off Mickey, though. Toss back into the fray. And the X actually back to where he came from, so maybe not the greatest usage. They're going to use the Chaotic Offering as well. And Mickey's just fine, so Sonic's kind of blundering this with that X. Maybe not the best communication between MSS and Yawar there, and that likely cost him a kill.
Yeah, that was rough. I mean, also using the rock to try to salvage that in the curse means the rock just runs around aimlessly. Now that's down. This is going to be a huge window where Liquid is free to do whatever they please. I mean, they don't have great tower pushing heroes on Liquid. That's one thing that Soniqs does have going for them. It's not like, Liquid has Lone Druid, they can just go down mid and push, but it is time for Mickey to keep farming. And I think if you looked up the amount of value that a hero like Wyvern gets for the gold that he spends, or that she spends, it's a lot. It is a lot. You give this hero some time, and
the Golem, will it live? Oh, it actually dies to the right click of Matu. That is unfortunate. It was about to expire on its own.
More gold for him.
Indeed, and he is top net worth. In fact, top 3 net worths in the entire game are all on Liquid's side. So, exiting the laning stage, they are in the driver's seat, but it's not like, I mean, the fact that Soniqs used all those abilities and there's no way for Liquid to really punish directly, like you said, because they're just farming still, so it could have been a lot worse for Soniqs.
It could have. I think we need like a what are those things like buzz dogs when they bark?
Yeah, I was actually thinking the same.
Like a zap collar for whenever.
That sounds safe.
Yeah.
Probably legal in
it might
West,
kill you. It might actually kill you.
It's possible. Yeah.
The health that you have.
Oh, me specifically.
It might kill me too, actually, with the sugar freeze.
Yeah, a lot. And Zai, see that he is building a BKB as well. And I mean, MSS not really remotely close to the Blink Dagger, and that feels like their main initiation tool right now. Considering that, really, it's only X. I mean, they have Chaotic Offering, but it feels like he can't. Obviously, Warlock doesn't want to be the one frontlining.
Yeah, no, that's a counter initiation these days anyway. I think X is your best bet. It is pretty. It's decent. There is Marcy. Like Boxy can always dispose out of the X torrent. So that's something that if Quincy is making a rotation without a Blink Dagger, they're going to have to be really careful about, which is presumably why Soniqs is farming. Did I say Quincy again? I think I did. Soniqs is still farming, yeah. Oops.
Could just punch you in the face each time if you'd like.
Yeah, that would probably be good for me. Be better as a solo cast anyway.
Boxy just farming a little way in this bot lane. And the fact that none of these towers have been pushed by Soniqs just goes to show how poor their pushing is as well. You talked about Liquid. I think Liquid's is actually better at pushing overall.
You're probably right.
Just Dazzle alone.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Neither team, not the greatest prowess in the pushing department, though.
No. Late game, it's a hard choice. I would say for Soniqs, like their late game strength is honestly between the Zeus and the Warlock. Fatal Bonds plus all of the Zeus percentage damage is incredible. Whereas on the Liquid side,
Radiant's bottom tower
probably the Wyvern and the Bloodseeker are the two strong heroes.
See the smoke from Soniqs. You can see Mickey is in Viz right now, but there is a sentry. I think they spotted him with that ward.
Yeah, they saw him.
It's not going to be a big surprise here.
Ward sentry.
And BKB is now officially online for Yawar, so let's try to take advantage of this to start things out. Let's not going to spot a couple of heroes. Gets the swarm off. Try to focus on Insanity to start this out, but he's going to get ruptured and have the time lapse back into place. There's the curse, but nobody is close, so it's going to be very short duration. Now we see the Wombo combo from Soniqs, and that's going to lead to an easy kill onto Insania. The question is, can they get more? Mickey taking so much damage. Boxy trying to save him, but it's not going to happen, so the mid-Wyvern is dead. The cost is the Chaotic Offering and Yawar's BKB. They'll certainly be happy with that, and likely the Tier 1 tower to follow.
Radiant structures.
Nice little scouting there from Lelis on Weaver. Get some vessel charges from that too. That's really big. That means that Zai's got to be careful up here because, you know, 1700 HP, you're dealing with percentage damage in that vessel. They're trying to set up on him.
Yeah, Shikuchi getting some vision here, but looks like Zai will be able to walk away safely, at least for now. Of course, with that fight, MSS is now ever closer to the Blink Dagger, just 700 away. And we're going to see a smoke now from Liquid. I'm not sure if this is just a warding expedition. Looks like it's just two supports, but there's now a TP up top by Mickey, so it looks like Liquid do want to fight. Lazar's going to be spotted out thanks to that corrosive haze, and the damage coming out from Zai is kind of crazy. All it was 2 bashes, essentially. That was about 80% of his HP. So Leslie ends up going to the grave.
That was kind of insane. I like this Slaughter Mask of Madness build. And look, Liquid's not done. They want to go for more. They see Quinn here.
Oh yeah, Quinn is going to get jumped on rebound, but the dispose doesn't come in time. So Quinn with those quick fingers. That's why they call him the Soniqs. Boys, something, Zai. Gets initiated on here in the bot lane, and yeah, Zai does a lot of damage right now.
He does. He's looking.
Did he just buy a shard? Was that him?
No way, dude. He's got his BKB.
Okay.
His BKB is coming out. That'd be a Chad move. To have enough gold for BKB, and you just buy the shard.
Yeah. That would have been good.
Like, as if he even needs the shard at this point. He's just two-shotting people.
Yeah, he's that Blink Dagger personal likelihood. The Torrent is going to connect to start things out here. X as well. Boxy looks to be dead. MSS finishes them off with the tree. So they get a little bit of a trade here, if you want to call it that. But as the game goes on, it feels like Liquid are just getting a little bit more control over time. Still not a massive lead, but it is starting to get sizable.
I think the reason it looks like Liquid is having control and why it looked like Soniqs had control before is because whoever goes on who in this game, there's so much burst on both sides that I feel like whoever goes on who is going to be the one that wins the fight. It's not one of those fights where it's like, oh, Liquid is stronger right now, Soniqs is stronger. It's whoever gets the jump is stronger in this current game. This is a kind of cool play. They do have Thundercut's Wrath on Soniqs.
They do, and they scan this out, so they actually know that Liquid's in here, but
I
think they realize it might be too late. No, they're actually going to smoke with the Corrosive Haze. This thing is going down real fast. Swarm is coming in as well, but Matu gets the Aegis, and MSS actually jumps in anyway. The Chaotic Offering to follow now. Grave a little bit premature onto Zai. He's going to walk away. Matu, they forced out the BKB, but just probably like 5 seconds too late from Soniqs to get that initiation on.
That's insane.
The sidekick on Zai. Are you kidding me?
I might be.
The fact that her most useless ability is her ult, it's just hilarious.
I know.
And it's a dispel, so it's always useful in some regard.
Yeah, it gives her move speed too. Yeah. Dude, I think Zai might be.
He's a carry right now.
He's kind of a carry. He's kind of a carry.
I mean, we say that, but we haven't seen a whole lot of Matu. He's still top net worth by
is.
1K
Yeah.
over his comrade. So, obviously has that BKB. Not sure what he's going to go for. What would you like to see? Okay, he's going for Basher.
Basher Scotty is kind of the build.
Radiant's middle
You just-
tower is under attack.
You just out trade anybody if you go for Basher Scotty.
And Spirit Vessel onto Zai. He's just going to sprint away. Rebound for a little extra move speed, why not?
Yeah, they know he's got PKB, so Soniqs doesn't want to completely hard commit to it, which is exactly why Zai is farming so damn aggressively. He knows he can get away with it.
And Mickey is going for an Aghanim Scepter, so saw this a couple times throughout the last DPC, but I would say it's rare even on core Wyverns these days because of the nerfs from, God, how long has it been now? But still, being able to use Arctic Burn whenever you want, very strong. The fact that it stacks is, to some degree at least, is pretty crazy. Zai is going to spot out Fata. They know he does not have Chaotic Offering, so he's going to get essentially two-shot, and there's the curse onto the Tiny, so MSS is dead as well. 2 down for Soniqs, as they're going to have to try to back up, but Leslau, he's ruptured. Time-lapse is back, but he's just in the arms of Matu. So there's 3 kills for Liquid, and they're going for more. Why not? Yawar looks to be next. Double kill for Matu, and 4 dead with 0 trades, as Liquid are in firm control of this game now.
I'm honestly a little surprised that Soniqs break the smoke there and then choose to fight that. Like, their Zeus was on the low ground too. It looked like a pretty awkward fight. I guess it's because they saw that Matumbo was like farming mid at the start of the fight, so maybe they can take the... Maybe it's good for them, but you're fighting into an Aegis. You know, Liquid smoked. They really wanted to take that fight. As Soniqs, they're looking a little rattled in this game so far.
Yeah, it could be land nerves. I mean, I want to say overall, throughout their history, they've had okay success on land, but they've had some games that have looked really bad, where you're like, are they struggling a little bit because it's a different environment? See, of course, this is just one game, so no need to really look into it too much. Boxy attempting to TP out. Oh, they just have enough damage. That would have felt so bad for Sonic if they couldn't even get the support Marcy here.
Yeah, it would.
Still 2 minutes with the Aegis now on Liquid. So Yawar is going to get the initiation, but Zai is so tanky. Avalanche from MSS showing off that Blink Dagger. Toss back onto the creep. It's off the Crush, though. If Zai gets out, he's going to BKB. Is he going to attempt it? He just blinks out. And he is fine.
Hey, Lemus does see him.
He does. Spirit Vessel's there. Okay. Grave, Shadow Wave, and TP, but they cancel it! And Soniqs get a much-needed kill, as Zai will be there. It looks like Fata's going to be the trade on the other side, as Matu uses the Aegis. Still had a minute and a half left to go on that bad boy. But either way, Soniqs going to be extremely happy, because that was essentially the bane of their existence. Toss back into the Roche pit. Insania has to grave himself with the Spirit Vessel and the Swarm. Cold Embrace is going to keep him there, but looks like he's going to die nonetheless. So a 2-for-1 in the end. But I think Soniq's still happy with this, for sure.
Soniqs was playing this whole last 30 seconds to a minute very well with their positioning. There was a very little opportunity for Mickey to hit a curse there. You could see that Soniqs was very cognizant of the fact that there's a Wyvern on the enemy team. You know, usually in team fights you want to group up together as a unit, especially when you just killed an enemy hero, but in the case against the Wyvern, not so much. He just blinked in.
Wyvern, yeah, another nice pickoff potentially for Soniqs as Mickey is just bursted down. Soniqs doing a nice job of getting back into this game. As you can see, Quinn himself working on an Aghanim Scepter, so Nimbus is not super far away. He went for a Ghost Scepter, by the way, just to try to not die to Zai with that right click.
Even Bloodseeker just running through the fight, going for the Zeus in the BKB. He can save his team as well with the Ethereal Blade once he eventually builds that. I think this makes a lot of sense.
Yep, and he's halfway to the Nimbus, so That'll be very nice for him. I believe Matu has the shard now online for himself, so Blood Rage will deal pure damage.
Radiant's middle
Pure
tower
percentage-based damage. Very good shard.
It's an insane shard. Yeah, it's such a strong one. Ever since people started maxing Blood Rage and just valuing this ability a lot more, I think Skeeter was like the first person to really start doing this. The hero has looked incredible as a carry. It looks like it scales a lot better, it farms a lot better. Like, people were maxing Blood Rage before and kind of like playing to fight and using that to kill multiple camps at once. It's like, why don't we just go for the attack speed of Blood Rage?
Dire's top tower is under
Yeah,
attack.
Fata looks to be mega dead here, although MSS is in the area. So that'll scare off the rest of Liquid, it looks like. They're not sure where everyone is. They're going to use their scan in the meantime.
When TP'd up, they want to fight this.
Yeah, looks like it. They've done a nice job of getting back in this game, and this second Rosh is going to be so important. I think especially for Soniqs, because at this stage you have to expect Liquid. I mean, they have a way better Rosh taking team in general. Weaver's still a few minutes away from that.
Weaver's not bad. Like, both have the ridiculous minus armor to shred through Roche, and both teams have good Roche fight too. Like, both in a small area, all Zeus spells in a small area, tiny. On the flip side, Wyvern, Slardar, like, these heroes love playing in tiny condensed spaces. So I think the first Roche was just a matter of, like, Soniqs was not ready for it. Liquid just did a really good job at...
Laszlo getting jumped, disposed. Do they have the lockdown? But the Avalanche, nice counter initiation from MSS. The Chaotic Offering to follow, but the Curse shortly after. As Zion Company trying to TP out. Zai will be fine. Boxy, well, okay. They're going to see him, and the right click from the Golem is enough. So Soniqs gets something out of that, but Liquid only losing the support. He's going to push out the rest of the lanes now. And of course, they don't have to worry about Roche quite yet. We won't know for another 40 seconds whether that's up or not. I mean, yeah, you're right. Both teams have good Roche team fight capabilities. I mean, but in terms of just taking Roche, I think you just Slardar alone.
Slardar always.
Swarm is like nothing comparable to.
No, Slardar's
Radiant's
yeah.
top tower is under attack.
It's just too much minus armor on too low of a cooldown. I love Lelis's build, by the way. Going for the Vessel into Lotus Orb. I feel like these are two powerful items in general. And on
Horsey countered by another Horsey. Insania in the tree.
He's stuck in there, bro.
Yeah, he is, but it looks like he's fine.
Oh, he's got no TP. He's got
to yeah, it's wait for the next Horsey. That's fine.
Wait 6 seconds.
He's fine. Just got to point the right way. That's a pretty short respawn on Roche, it looks like.
Radiant's top tower has fallen.
And the game, in terms of net worth, is quite even. Second Roche is available. They're going to find Insania in the end, though. So they stuck around. He's going to buy back into the game, though. Double BKB pop. You are attempting to TP out. And Matu not able to get the bash, but looks like they'll at the very least get MSS. So it's a 1-for-1. The Curse used just on the support Fata. Of course, considering that Roche is up, and the fact that they can take it so fast, means that Liquid might have the second Roche all to themselves here. But the buyback from Fata might keep them back. Of course, no Chaotic Offering for 60 seconds, so I'm not sure how much difference this buyback will make. Yeah, both for another 30 as well.
Yeah, Fata doesn't even have TP for this buyback, so it seems to,
it's gone.
Wasted. It's dead already.
Yeah. Mega dead, and then you can actually make use of the support unleash as well. Actually, not too bad with that minus armor.
They didn't even need Matamba to take that Roche.
That's true.
Pretty much just Boxy with the Slardar amp.
So we got the second Aegis of the game now onto Matu's Bloodseeker.
And the Shard.
He had the Shard before. Who got the Shard?
Who took the Shard? Insania had one.
Okay, so it's Slardar, Zai.
I'm pretty sure did.
I don't think he bought one. Yeah.
Okay, that's a good free shard.
So yeah, that's a really good shard. Anytime you crush, the AoE is increased and it applies Corrosive Haze for 5 seconds, which against like a few of these heroes is just a kill. Like you don't need to reapply Corrosive Haze necessarily.
No. I mean, yeah, it's like a lot of the time the heroes played to burst, and you burst people in less than 5 seconds. Otherwise, by definition, not burst. So it's really strong. I've seen people go for the level 20, 150 crush damage talent too. And you one-shot creep waves, it's pretty insane. Although, if you want to play more for utility, which I think in this game, into fight, which I think makes sense in this game for Bloodseeker, you can go for 4 Corrosive Haze armor.
That's it's actually a hard one to choose, because it synergizes with Like, both of them synergize quite well with the Shard.
Yeah.
As we're going to see a smoke now from Liquid. Want to take advantage of this Aegis and the Aghanim Scepter being picked up by Mickey. So he was delayed to a degree getting this. Has the Ogre Club. His courier must have died then, since he just picked that up.
He's going for BK.
Yeah, he's going BKB now, but yeah, Aghanim Scepter
Dire's
allows you to
top
traverse the
tower
terrain
is
anytime
under
you want. Cooldown doesn't matter, it just costs mana per second for the Arctic Burn.
25% move speed too, which is insane when he eventually picks up travels.
Scanning.
Yeah, gets scanned out. Initiation onto Quinn. He gets off the Ghost Scepter, but disposed. Global range essentially, and Quinn does get the Heavenly Jump off, but he dies shortly after. And Yawar getting focused by the right clicks of Zai and company, and he is mega dead. So a second kill, make it 3 for Liquid. As they get a very successful smoke gank off, and they don't even get touched. Aegis still intact.
One very weird mechanic that you could see in play there is that when you dispose onto a low ground, it takes into account the Z-axis, and so if you throw them onto a low ground, they fly like double the range, which is exactly why it looked like that was some global range dispose. It's because Dota is in Source 2, which is a 3D engine.
Wow.
It's very strange.
Oh boy, Leslau. Corrosive Haze still applied thanks to that shard, and now he can get the old-fashioned Corrosive Haze on there. Leslau using that Spirit Vessel onto Zai. As you can see in the base, Bloodseeker goes and ends up being a full team wipe across the map. That is a very strange development there, as Liquid now knocking on the door. Looks like this tier 3 and likely a set of racks is going to go their way. Nope, they're going to play this a little more disciplined, it looks like.
That's a cool little split from Liquid, where they send the Bloodseeker hitting the high ground, and while that's happening, Boxy and Zai split off to go for the split pushing that's inevitably going to happen. Like, you lose a fight, what are you going to do, sit in your base? Nobody does that, right? You try to push the lanes out, you try to get something on the map, because you know the enemy team's going to run at your high ground. And so they did this, like, this split so they could deal with that, which is, of course, risky, especially against a Tiny. But in this game, they feel like they can get away with it.
And Matu is 5,000 gold, which will be spent soon here for that Scotty. 200 away now. And yeah, Liquid in... Man, this game was so even just a couple minutes ago.
Lively now.
And that second Roche really hurts. The fact that it came up so early, actually, definitely fortuitous for Liquid.
Yeah, the name of this game has definitely been Roche.
I brought it up at minute 5, if you remember.
You absolutely somehow preempted that.
It's almost like every game is decided by Roche, it feels like.
You might be right.
That second Roche is like the game clincher.
Yeah.
Although I hope they don't change the shard, because I love that.
I do like the shard. Yeah, the shard is cool. It's a nice one.
Maybe Aegis has a 3-minute timer instead of 5.
That's probably fair. It's been a determining factor for too long anyway, you know, so I can get behind that.
All right. Well, 30 seconds on the Aegis for Matu. Not sure if they're going to try to force this. Likely will not, considering how they've been playing thus far. But you can see that he is far and away the top net worth in the game. 21,000 to his name. And smoke from Soniqs. Matu on the high ground. Yeah, they know that the Aegis is down to 5 seconds, so you just have to be a little bit careful. You're going to blow everything on Zai, who now lives with the Grave and the BKB. MSS likely to be the trade, but a big curse onto 3. Warlock, is this enough to actually take out Fata? Indeed it is. He's down for 50 seconds. No use of Golem, and Quinn not able to get to the high ground thanks to that jump. So Mickey will take a double kill for himself, and Yawar and company just trying to get the hell out of here. But game 1 looking definitely going the way of Team Liquid right now. So 3 dead for Soniqs, as the rest of them in their base trying to get away. But MSS will burst down to the Bloodright. The last remaining member, Leslau, might be able to get out because no Rupture's online, but the GGs are called, so game 1 goes to Team Liquid. And, I mean, honestly, this was a very back-and-forth game, but Liquid seemed to be in control for about 90% of it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I agree with you. I don't know. It looked easy for Liquid, to be honest. That's just what my gut says. It looked like they could have fun in that game. That's how easy it looked for them. That they were just running around killing everybody. Like Zai on Slardar, I feel like he was standing somewhere on the map that he should probably die. You would think, but then it's just like he just walks up and like 2 hits Lelis.
You know, not to change this, the way we're standing, like, you're behind me.
I know.
It's actually so weird. Anyway, continue, Jenkins. You
I
had a
don't
very
know.
important point. Sorry about that.
No, it looked easy for Liquid. It really did. I don't know.
I mean, the Roche obviously had a big thing to do with it because Soniqs, Quincy Crew, I don't even care anymore.
Yeah.
Quincy Crew, if they can't change their logo in the game, then, I don't know. But when they ended up coming back into the game, evening it up, it was like a 1K net worth deficit, like halfway through.
They did.
And
they did, yeah.
Liquid they got one pick off, early Roche, and they take it. And that was GG.
Yeah, that's right, Suns fan. The panel's ready.
All right, the panel is ready, so you can stop looking at Jenkins and myself. Let's see what they have to say about this amazing game from Liquid in game number 1.
We don't want to stop looking at Jenkins, but unfortunately you guys are back with us here on the panel. And let's break it down a little bit more. This game number 1 going to the side of Liquid there, and it felt like, somewhat even for most parts of it, and then all of a sudden Liquid just exploded. They were taking all of these team fights and everything. I want to talk about mid matchups first, though, because it was that Wyve, and we ended up seeing it come out as the last swap up as they were picking out their what are the words I'm looking for? Heroes.
That is it.
Yes, that is the one I was looking for.
They're quite important.
Yes.
Champions?
Can we get her off the panel already,
I'm sorry.
please?
I just want...
But yes, the mid matchup. How do you guys feel about that one? How did it play out, and were you impressed with Liquid being able to move the Wyve into mid?
I feel like it's something that they have pre-planned. It looked like they have these 2 saves that you get with Dazzle and Wyvern on the same team, right? Like saving one another. I don't think that this game was very easy for them. I don't think that they super out-drafted, not Quincy Crew, but Soniqs.
Oh god, he's
get to-
himself.
you get to
He's
stay
good.
high
He's good. He's good.
I said not, yeah.
He's good.
So I feel that it was extremely difficult to play against all these heroes that can reach the backlines and get a lot of info on you. Even if you're a Wyvern mid that gets a lot of farm, right? You still get, X marks the spot, you get bugs on you, you get a ton of vision, and then you can't really do what you want to, and that's stay behind, fly across the trees and constantly dish out damage. Still though, from Team Liquid, I would say Zai did a ton of work as well. Like that Slardar and the build, that's just so. We were talking about it in the green room, right, Sheep? It's just so satisfying to whack people with the Mask of Madness.
While we have this scoreboard up on stream here, are you surprised by any of the builds? Were there certain builds that you were like, this is it, this was amazing, it really helped either team sort of take team fights or stay in the game as long as they did?
I would just perhaps talk about what do you think about the Lotus Orb Sheep, like on Weaver? It's necessary, right?
I feel like Weaver just had the saddest game ever.
Right.
Like early game, his lane was kind of abandoned. Like MSS made a lot of moves. He TP'd top pretty early. He tried to really like make that lane work for them. So Weaver didn't get to dominate his lane as a Weaver offlane likes to. He got killed as soon as Bloodseeker hit level 6. Then he was kind of delegated to the top lane to like shove that out. He really never got to do a lot for a long time. Yep. And that's why like we see this Iron build. He had a Vessel which had no charges for the longest amount of time. So you have an aggressive Iron like Vessel, you're not doing anything with it, then your game is too hard to play, so you have to go Lotus Orb, like,
We were discussing the Weaver in the draft panel, right? Like we were talking about it pre-game, and I actually expected them to put it on position 4, demote it even lower so that his impact isn't just completely hindered by Rupture, because if you have an offlane Weaver, of course you're going to Rupture him every single time. You see the Weaver, you Rupture him, your game is easier afterwards, right?
Yeah.
But he did adjust his playstyle a little bit. Like he was the one actually going in first. He gives info. He isn't like this scared little bug that's on the outskirts of fights. No, he goes in first, gives vision. Even if he gets ruptured, he just ulties out. So that's a nice adjustment from him, but it still wasn't enough.
Yeah, obviously Liquid did take this game number 1 here, but on the side of Soniqs, were there certain aspects that you were impressed with in their draft, how it played out, team fights and things like that?
They had 2 good fights for me, or like good ideas. The first was obviously when they were like kind of beneath the tier 1 tower mid, and they, like you said, got the vision with the Weaver, get the X marks off, got a like pretty decent fight. They have the tower, like things are nice. And then I think they realized after that horrible, well, they probably realized earlier, but after that horrible fight in their triangle, they know that they have to kind of play a pick-off game. So when Zai is top on his Slardar, they really take advantage of that and kill him. Try and take advantage of that more by like smoking up afterwards. They get the kill on Mickey mid. That was a really nice play from them. Like they know they have to do that because team fights are way too hard. We saw in their triangle. The problem is Wyvern is a core, so she will ult someone. They will probably die because she is doing so much damage on top of the fact that you know you're getting killed by your teammates. And then like your Weaver's getting ruptured. So like already these two ults are just like separating your team. No one can move. You're like completely immobilized. So it's, and then they just get picked off after that and run down because Bloodseeker's really good at that as a hero. You get low health, you get run down.
The way they dish out damage as well, it's kind of every one of them can do it on their own. Like the Wyvern can get a solo pick off, the Bloodseeker as well can take down a target from 100 to 0. Meanwhile, when you look at Soniqs, like there's no way for them to do the same thing. Like Zeus is their damage.
Yeah.
Everyone else is just noise, right? Like they're running in front of you, they're just confusing you. That's what they do. Like Kunkka, like, yeah, he has that one cleave and that's about it. In fights, he's not going to dish out that much damage.
Okay.
And because of that, if the team fights aren't that compact, if they're separated in different places, Liquid do have an edge.
So outside of the draft and I guess the way that Liquid was retaliating